Hello everyone. Today we are going to see how to make use of GPT to handle dynamically changing UI elements and its selectors. For that, first let me explain you a problem statement related to this. And for that purpose, I'll make use of the RPA Challenge website. If you are not aware of what this website is, simply type in www.rpachallenge.com, and on the left hand side you will be seeing the list of instructions for what needs to be done. So our goal here is not to solve the RPA challenge in quick time, but it is to see how to make use of the GPT action available in Power Automate Desktop to identify the dynamically changing UI elements and its selectors. Let me quickly show that to you what the challenge exactly is. So from the RPA challenge webpage, I take any random text box and we will capture its element. Let's say phone. I right click on it, inspect. Input is the HTML tag for that. I right click again, copy element and paste it into Notepad. Now this is form 1 or page 1 out of 10 rounds. When you click the start button, you will see round 1, round 2, like that it will go till 10 rounds. Now we have captured for the first page. Let's do a submit and this changes to round 2, and let's do the same thing for the phone number of the second screen. Inspect, right click, copy element and paste it. Now here we have the two input tags, the HTML tags for the phone text box. And as you can see, generally in RPA, we use the common attributes of ID or name, and you can see how they are dynamically changing on each page. This way, they will be changing on every single page, right from page 1 to page 10. And the developer will not know, the developer is not aware of what this randomly generated ID is going to be. This is the exact challenge we are going to solve with the help of GPT actions. Let's check it out what needs to be done to solve this. I'll open a new Power Automate desktop flow. Give it a name as RPA challenge using GPT. Now we have the RPA challenge web page open. Let's keep it open and attach to it and not reopen and close it each time. So I will take the browser related action, which is launch new Microsoft Edge. Instead of launching a new instance, we'll attach to a running instance and use the URL to identify. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to capture the div tag of this entire portion which holds all the 7 fields. So let's do that using the UI related, the browser related actions. So get details of UI element on web page is what we are looking for. When I drag it, I'll capture a new UI element, wait for the UI element picker window to open. And now when I hover my mouse over each of the fields, it will identify that particular HTML element. So what we want is this outer div tag to be captured. So I right click on it and click on capture, and it will take me back to the flow. In this case, I want the HTML of that entire div. So I give it the attribute name as HTML. And in this case, the HTML value will be stored into an output variable called attribute value. You can also change it like the way you want. Now comes the action in question, and that is the GPT action. The generative pre-trained transformer action in Power Automate Desktop is a premium feature, and if you're not seeing that action, that could be because of a few reasons. If you can see on the web page given by Microsoft, they have mentioned that it's a preview feature, it's not meant for production, it's only available in certain regions, it's still in the process of rolling out, as well as you can enable it, you have to enable it using certain options in the Power Platform Admin Center. So you can try this out with your admin And if you still don't see it, then you will have to wait for it to arrive. But let's check how this action works. I'll drag this action and it asks us for some instructions similar to any GPT like Copilot or Chat GPT. And in this case, I'm going to give it some instructions which I have already created, and I'm going to read it out. Okay, what we are asking is get me the ID attribute from the HTML of the input element for phone from the below HTML. Do not add any additional text before or after. Now we are going to pass the HTML text that we just captured, and that's stored in attribute value. Click save, and as soon as we click save, there is an error. What the error says, the create text with GPT action doesn't have a content display message. Now why is this error? Because Microsoft, as part of responsible AI program, wants us to add a display input dialog box or a display message box immediately after the create text with GPT action, so that it is human verified. The output of the GPT is verified by a human. For that purpose, as part of the responsible AI program, Microsoft suggests us to do this. So let's do that and get rid of this error. The output coming from the GPT action is predict v2 text response. So that is the one we need to have in our display. As soon as I click on save, the error is disappeared. Now one would wonder how to make use of this action in unattended automation where there won't be any human to click this display message box. For that, you can make use of this close message box automatically after say 1 second, and you did not have to worry about it. After this, let's fill our phone text box. Let's add a UI element for the phone. Right click, capture, and there we are. Now for demonstration purpose, let me add the word phone. In real scenario, you will be having an Excel downloaded on the RPA challenge website, and you will be taking the records from the Excel onto the web page. Now, if you see the selector of this text box, it shows the ID, and we have seen earlier that this ID keeps on changing, and for that reason exactly we have taken the GPT action. So our job now will be to pass that whatever dynamic ID will be generated out of our GPT action to be coming on to be passed as the ID field over here. If you see here, it has automatically changed to a variable. Now let's check it out to see what we have built so far. I'll keep these windows side by side so that we have a look of both the windows together. I've run the flow. It has attached to the browser instance. It will get the div. It will display after being read by the GPT. There's the display message box. And if you can see, it has correctly populated the phone number text field accurately by the word phone which we had given. Now to see whether what we have built is dynamically working for every single page or not, let's add a loop and let's do this twice for 2 pages. Start from 1 and to 2 and increment by 1, and we'll drag over these actions. Now the way the RPA challenge goes on to the next page is by clicking submit. Now you will see as soon as I click submit, this phone word will get disappeared and the structure of the text boxes arrangement will change. Can you see that? I'll click multiple times. There it is. So the idea is we need to click on the save, and for that we'll use press button action for a web page. We'll add a UI element for the submit button. Capture. There we are. Let's intentionally keep a breakpoint before hitting the submit button so that we observe what exactly happens. It's time to run the flow again. Yes, so it has entered correctly. Now, since after clicking submit, it's going to be a new due tag. So our get details action should happen inside the loop so that on every single page it reads the new HTML, the new tag, and then passes it over to GPT and we get the ID. So let's check that out. Before that, let's see what we have run. If you can see here, the response coming from the GPT is the ID coming out of the text box. So whatever will be the ID of this particular text field. In this case, if you can see, this is the ID and that's the exact value returned in our variable coming out of the GPT action. So we are good so far. I've dragged the action inside the loop and now let's check it out again. Let's remove the word phone by clicking submit. I'll run it from the beginning. We are getting the details. GPT is running the prompt, displaying the value, closing the pop-up automatically. If you can see on the left hand side, the phone text box, wherever it was available, it has correctly populated by the word phone. Now let's execute it one more time, and if you will be seeing that the bot will click the submit button and it will be refreshed. There's the second time of the loop. Again, it's calling the GPT action. We have a new ID this time, and you can see how correctly it has populated the phone number text field. So this is how we have identified with the help of the GPT action, dynamically changing elements. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, that our idea is not to solve the RPA challenge in quick time. It is to see how to make use of GPT to identify something that is dynamically changing in terms of the UI elements and selectors. Now, here's a pro tip from me. If you want to continue this exercise on your own for all the other 7 fields. Now, I have used this GPT action just for phone. If I can show you again, you can see that it's only for phone. Now, there are 7 different fields, so it's not feasible to call the GPT action for every single text field, for example, pass for phone, address, email separately. Instead of that, you can simply pass the entire div as I've shown here, and in your prompt, you can mention that return me the JSON for phone, email, first name, company name, last name, so that it will return you just one JSON, and then you can go through the JSON, convert it to a custom object and pass the individual values, and then finally onto its respective text boxes. You might want to try it out. Thank you.